Hello everyone. Today I'll give a second lecture on the topic of principal stress under given loading. Before begin, let me give you the review of a previous lecture. In previous lecture, we discussed the three different example problems. First example problem we considered was pressure vessel problem that has welding joint. So in this problem, we considered a cylindrical vessel that is made out of welding very thin and high aspect ratio thin films. After making twisting geometry of this, and if you make a welding joint with some angle, what you can expect is this welding joint is the weakest point where the failure would likely to occur. So at this welding joint, what you have to do is, given the pressure and given the hook stress and longitudinal stress, you do the coordinate transform and check the normal stress and shear stress, that is parallel to this welding joint or normal to the welding joint, and compare the normal stress and shear stress with the normal strengths and shear strengths of the welding joint and solve the problem. Yeah, if you take a look at this, suppose that this is the thin film and welding joint is like a 90-degree here. So solving welding joint problem, what you have to do is you only need to consider in-plane Mohr circle, because when you solve like a three-dimensional Mohr circle, as I told you in previous lecture and the lectures before, the maximum shear or maximum normal stress occurs at like a 45-degree angle. But here in welding joint problem, when you take a magnified view, welding joint is like a 90-degree from the surface, and you don't need to worry about like a non-in-plane Mohr circle. So in solving welding joint, just have in mind that you only need to consider in-plane Mohr circle. Then we discussed about beam and shaft problem. So in beam and shaft problem, the thing we realize is that we can compute the principal stress and maximum shearing stress at any material point, and principal stress and maximum shearing stress and principal axis can be position dependent depending on the reactions at specific cross-section, imaginary cross-section. You can have different principal axes at different points, and that's something we have learned. And then we discussed about a pressure vessel under external loading, and in this example problem there was no welding joint. So in the absence of the welding joint, we also realized that we have to consider 3D Mohr circle to obtain the realistic maximum shearing stress and realistic maximum principal stress. Okay, so these are the topics we have considered in previous lecture, and what we're gonna do today is we'll do the same thing. We'll just keep solve problems, because this is a chapter considering combining all the knowledge that we have learned from the beginning of this lecture and try to apply the combine the knowledge into the design of mechanically reliable structure. So the topic of this chapter is solving problem itself. Okay, so let's solve one problem in one video in today's lecture.